Is on my side. Be hot favourites to win today as they take to the court with 5 premiership titles under their bid. But the Hawks are taking their 4th win on the trot and have a partisan Auckland crowd helping their cause this afternoon. This is one game of netball you don't want to miss. Let's talk to our commentators, Brendan Telfer and Julie Coney.
Well, all the pressure today, of course, very much on the home side as the visiting team introduced to the crowd here. This very powerful Sting side haven't lost a match this year. In fact, haven't lost a game since early on in 2003 when they were beaten in Dunedin by the Rebels. 14 straight wins since then, including, of course, the National Bank Cup final last year in Invercargill. Few fans have travelled up here, I noticed, from Invercargill to support them today, but rather outnumbered alongside the 3,000 supporters here. In fact, Julie, very much like a finals atmosphere here today, isn't it?
It is. It's great to see the stadium full and so much support for this home side, the Force. And look, a big game for them this afternoon, because if they can win this, and depending how other things stack up, they could get a home semi-final as well. And with a crowd like this behind them, I think that would be quite important. Same team that took the court against the Sting here last year in the final, which the Sting won only by the 2 goals.
So much resting there on the broad shoulders of Danica Wupiiti. There she is, there, hugely talented and a very tall goal shoot. Just hasn't had a very good year with the shooting, and much will depend on how successful she is at finding that hoop today. At least they have the knowledge that they probably are already through to the top 4, so that'll take some of the pressure off them. 2 umpires today, Justine Vaughan to the right and Cormac to the left. And another big occasion for a young lad here on Auckland's North Shore. Today, our Qantas ball carrier, Holly Rayner.
Hi, my name's Holly Rayner. I'm from Artisco. My favourite player is Timapara, and I'm like windy and go attack.
Once we get rid of the disc jockey out there on the court, we'll get underway. The MC still got a few things to say to the crowd. I think he's finally left. Leslie Nicholl takes the ball from Holly Rayner, and this 7th round National Bank Cup match about to get underway here at the North Shore Event Centre.
Goal attack, penalty straight. Take the time here. Yes. Well, they want a better start than they had against the Force side last year in that final. They were down by 5 goals at the end of the first quarter.
Contact called on Kate Dowling near the goal defence, leaning all over Evelino, and the Australian import successful with a long shot first up.
Yes, and you saw how she stepped in front of the defence to keep them away from the rebound. Well, that's the start that Wupiiti would have liked as well. The Sting have never shot under 82%, and the Force have only twice got to an 82% percentage.
Evelino gets herself a little closer to the hoop, gets the penalty as well.
Yes, well, that's how she'll like to put her shots up, with the defence standing beside her.
Member of the Australian squad a couple of years ago. Lots of space on the baseline there for Teresa Tairi, and all the time in the world.
Yes, wide open for her, wasn't it? Wupiiti did well. She drew 2 defenders close to the top of the circle and left the baseline open. Long pass, successful for the Sting.
And there we see one of the great values of Donna Loughagen, that bullet pass right from the centre of the court, straight into the hands of Evelino. Well, it's been very pure netball here for the first couple of minutes. 6 shots at goal, and they've all found the hoop.
And that's the game the Force are going to have to play against the Sting, not the mistake or the error-ridden game that we saw from them last week. Because the Sting are very careful with possession. They very rarely throw it away, and they don't often miss when it's in the hands of this woman.
Evelino finding Loughagen there. I thought she was going to put up the high shot. I think she just might have fooled the defence there and just popped the ball to Loughagen. Contact called on Leslie Nicholl, and again room and space at the back there for Tairi.
Yes, forcing it into her. Quite a dangerous pass to make, but got over the hands of the defenders.
Well, this is a rare sight for the force shooters, both going at 100%. Still a little matter of the next 48 minutes of the match to go, of course. Early days yet. 2 minutes into this first quarter, Evelina seems to already have a very good understanding. Only played a half a dozen games with these Sting players, the Australian, but she has settled in.
Yes, she's not the highest percentage of shooters, is she? 77% she started this match on throughout the competition. However, she does create a lot of space in the attack. Very astute player, feeds the circle well, and just showing now that she's not afraid to put the shot up either.
And there's the first miss. So look at that. Still manages to get the rebound and finishes the job off.
Good match up in that circle. Vangana up against Avellino. Notice the force keeping the ball short as they bring it through court. Not allowing the Sting to get any intercept ball. But here's the turnover.
That really is about the first turnover we've seen in the match. 4 minutes into this first quarter. Dean Harper tried the bounce pass, couldn't find Avellino, picked up by Kate Dowling.
So an error from each side.
So back to the status quo. In fact, with the team that started this phase from the centre pass to fourth.
Yes, of course, it's alternate pass-off for those of you at home that don't realise that. It's not who scores the goal.
Yeah, that's a confidence booster for Teresa Taedi. She took the long shot. And they get the turnover as well from the centre pass.
Yeah, great work from Scanlon off the centre pass. And that's the advantage of having her out there at wing defence. If the Force can have a good defensive game, they do get a lot of balls for their shooters. That's the one thing. In fact, in a semi-final last year, they won the match on 68% shooting stats, the Force side.
Which is amazing, isn't it? Tells you you're putting up a lot of shots. So just a few little unforced errors creeping into both teams here. Run of turnovers.
Yes, well, there's some good, strong defence happening in the mid-court from both sides.
Anna Galvin, the former Anna Veronese, now playing out of the Sting in Invercargill. And Whippiichi. That's the sort of play we haven't seen from her this year. And, well, maybe she's come to play today.
Well, that's what she's capable of at times, though. That's the thing. To me, it's just a concentration thing for her.
Well, she is a genuine game breaker and a game winner, isn't she? Rather like Lovehagen is at the other end of the court, but she seems to have had a rather passive role in proceedings from the Force this year.
Yes, and I still think if you can get on top of this Sting side, and especially on top of the attack end of the court, then you could upset them.
12 ball across the bridge in Point Chev, where the Flames and the Diamonds are at it. They started about 10 minutes earlier than we did here, so they're into the second quarter there. That's a match also that will have a big influence on where the semi-finals are played over the next couple of weeks. Flames currently in second place, tied at 12 all after 15 minutes.
Good tip from Dowling. Nice reach with the away arm. Oh, lovely opening. And that's where Avellino has that skill. She's got good vision. Just waited for the two defence to peel off and leave Lovehagen free.
Two back on Whippiichi in the circle there. Taedi trying to draw them out of that little sandwich, and Whippiichi forced to put up the long shot, but she's shooting a lot better today than she did last week against the Rebels. Only went at 57% in that match, which the Force really struggled to overcome the Rebels in the end. But it's a far different look about this Force shooting circle today. But, as you said, a long way left in this match. Avellino didn't want to put up the shot from mid-court there.
And again, so just opting to offload to Lovehagen. The defence are going to have to be onto that.
Lockhagen, 3 from 3 so far in the match. And the Whoopie by far the busiest of the 4 shooters. She's put up 6 from 7. Turnover.
That's the danger of it coming out of the circle once it's in there. Oh, lovely timing.
Just striking too quickly there. Kate Dowling called for contact on the ball, and Avellino showing that she's not afraid to put up these long shots.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when a shooter starts missing, she doesn't put her shots up, but good to see that Avellino gets over that quickly and away she goes again.
Called for stepping, and so
just being careful with the ball, playing it short. And if they're not looking for the long ball at the moment, it's nice, short, tight. Few errors. Lovely long shot, but in and out.
It was close.
Thought it was going all the way.
Jenny Ferguson, Dean Harper, Leslie Nichol. Scanlon called for contact there on the ball. And there we are, 82% each, which is why it's all tied up at 9 goals apiece. With Donna Lockhagen, the only shooter with perfect record still. 3 from 3. Had a wonderful match last week in Hamilton, 42 from 43 in that very high scoring game against the Magic, which they won 63-60.
Okay, Eddie wanted a little closer, and she had good support at the top of the circle in Clark. Played that little in and out pass that she is so much her trademark in the game.
There's the assistant coach of the Sting side. Tanya Dalton began the season as the goal shoot, suffered that terrible injury in the second round and out for the season.
Now, lovely footwork on the baseline. Left Kate Dowling for Deb Lockhagen. Space opened up for her.
Probably got slightly mixed feelings about being here today. This is her home turf. This is where she lives, on Auckland's North Shore. So she'd have plenty of friends in the crowd here today.
Well, maybe not.
Or maybe not, for the next hour anyway. Member of the New Zealand team in Jamaica last year at the World Champ. And was in her second season with the Sting when she suffered that injury.
Just opening up on attack for the Sting. Lovely space again for them in that. A little much here under that ball.
Robin Borton, the coach, a very successful coach of the Sting side again this year, and she's forging one of the great records of any provincial side in any sport in New Zealand.
Oh, this is a great match-up in the mid-court. Clark and Nichol. It's going to be interesting to see how it develops.
Never more than 1 or 2 goals in this first quarter. That's to say from the Sting squad, really a difficult match for them to play in some ways, because they know that it doesn't matter what happens here today. They have a home semi-final next week, so it's not as if there's a hell of a lot riding on this match for them other than pride. and keeping this winning sequence going.
Well, that's the thing, and that's like, I just watched their warm-up before this match. Everything they do is with purpose, and they have players out there, and we heard Donald Fagan talking about it before the game. She likes to go out and win, and Leslie Nichols no different. So there's some great leaders on the court for this thing side too, and as I say, in the warm-up you could see it on their face. All positive, but just a machine. Well, that's what Vangana likes, that intercept ball, and the bench from the fourth not happy.
Yvonne Wintering thought that was clean, but not the way the umpire saw it. We'll have a look at that in slow motion and see who was right.
That was great timing from Vangana, I thought.
And both defenders out here for Avellino, so this should be just a formality from there now. Well, sometimes the easier they are, the more likely you are to miss them.
Here it is. There was the tip from one hand. And couldn't quite catch it on that replay.
Tembapara Clark just misdirecting that pass, and away come the Sting. Chance to get at least a 2-goal advantage here going into the next quarter. And Loughagen, she won't miss from there.
No, again, that baseline's open for her. They're not preventing her from running it at all.
One simple mistake at the other end of the court, and Sting will make you pay every time. Well, now they have a chance to turn it back as they collect that centre pass from the Sting.
Yeah, and you can see Wipigiti struggling to get back into the circle. She came out to help out, and then the players did a good job keeping her wide, but 90% from her this quarter, 9 from 10.
This is the Danica Wipigiti we saw a couple of years ago when she first burst onto the national scene as a youngster down there in New Plymouth playing for the Flyers, and quickly made her way into the New Zealand squad.
And she could well play her way in to the New Zealand A squad today if she has a good performance. There's some doubt over Richie now with her injury.
That was the opportunity for Teresa Tahiti to tie it up at the end of the first quarter, but she misses with the shot, and so the visiting side take a 1-goal advantage into the second spell. Rivals continuing on where they left off at the end of the National Bank Cup final last year. That first quarter was a bit like the fifth spell of that 2003 final. Nothing in it, just one single goal.
And we just got some scores from around the country as well. The Shakers and the Rebels at the end of the first quarter. The Shakers 11, the Rebels 9. And the Magic against the Flyers, a good start for the Magic. 24-9 at the end of the first quarter to the Magic. 12-all across the bridge with the Flames up against the Diamonds. That was the first quarter scores. And here, of course, 16-15 at the end of the first quarter. The Sting ahead by 1.
It seems a bit odd why these little housekeeping matters couldn't have been attended to in the break between the first and second quarters, but as the players come back onto the field, out come the officials. So a little stoppage here while the spots of perspiration are wiped off the floor. 3,500 people here this afternoon to watch this match. Very thoughtful look on the face of the Bernice Meni, former key member of the Sting for a number of seasons, of course. Now, these days living here in Auckland, but I imagine her sympathies very much with her old teammates, the Sting, here today.
Well, it's been interesting in the first quarter of the match. It was Avellino that took more shots than Loughagen. And quite often we see Loughagen putting up more shots. But it's Avellino that's 9 from 12 at the moment. Loughagen 8 from 8. So Kate Dowling did do a very good job in that first quarter, or certainly the first 5 minutes against Donna Loughagen.
But she did get penalised 8 times for contacts, and if we have a look at the penalty count, you'll see a huge count against the force, 27-12, and the bulk of those have come for contacts, and the bulk of those, or certainly about half of them, have gone against Kate Dowling.
Yes, so just in areas that she'll want to tidy up, a bit more discipline, because she could get the ball from it rather than the contact, so just got it.
And a lot of those have been on Evelino, who's in turn been getting a lot of penalty shots as a result.
That's it.
Right tussle going on there between two former silver thirds, Linda Wagner and Donna Lovehagen.
Long ball and lovely feed from Clark. They've got a nice understanding. Clark to Whippy.
So similar start to the first quarter, the opening centre passes, providing opening goals for those respective teams. Held ball there on Leslie Nichols.
Good defensive work from the force.
Here's the chance to get back onto equal footing and possibly even put their noses in front here. So they'll have the centre pass as a result of that turnover and that goal, and an opportunity here now for home side to get in front. Haven't been there for a while. Two back on Whippy, and the ball coming off a hand of and a Gelvin, I think it was, and so Force will have the throw-in.
So the free pass has to go inside the circle. It has to be taken inside. The first infringement was offside. And good space again. Whippy used her body well, put the defence on her back.
This is where the bulk of the goals have been coming today from Whippy. I think we mentioned this last week against the Rebels. When Whippy is putting up the shot, usually the Force are in front. And this is exactly what's happened here today. 12 of those 18 goals have come from Whippy. Hit by 18 to 17.
Well, that's the beauty of Lovehagen tight in there. And her strength on the rebound.
Yes, it's like she changes from goal attack to goalkeeper in the space of a rebound. She just has so much height there that she must get more rebounds, I think, than any other shooter in the competition, including Irene van Dijk. Well, she just can't miss today, Whippy.
And in fact, the rebounds reinforce that, Brendan. There's the attacking rebounds for the Sting, 4 of them.
7-1.
Wow. A steal.
Contact called on the goalkeeper, Anna Gelvin. Whippy, and a little more aggressive as she went for that rebound.
Whoa, there was an intercept on there for the defence inside, but too concerned with the shooters. A wide swinging ball.
Donna Lovehagen still hasn't missed or attempt today. 10 from 10. Remember, she went 42 from 43 last week against the Magic. Only to be outdone by Irene van Dijk, who had the perfect game.
Yes, but I was watching Donna Lovehagen in the first quarter of the match, and a lot of the goals she was taking very, very close to the goal, which is fantastic that she can get herself into that position. The baseline was opening for her, and she was coming through, and most of them were taken on the wing attack side of the court, so the opposite side to where she starts, if you like, off the line.
22 to 19, 21 to 19. So we'll get that right, 21-20 we finally decided on. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think the Force had jumped out to a 3-goal advantage all of a sudden.
Well, they have an opportunity here.
26-23, the Flames are leading the Diamonds 26-23 at half-time.
Lovely movement, good timing, left Galvin behind, Whoopi, he does well.
Well, it's been a very good quarter so far for the Force. They were trailing by a goal, remember, at quarter time when Saidi missed a shot right on the buzzer. But they're ahead by 7-4 midway through this second quarter. And this is, without doubt, I would think, Julie, the best netball they played this year.
Yes, well, we certainly haven't seen the on-paper form, or the form that we see on paper, bare metre mark, the shaded area. A lot of success close in. A couple of the long shots she's missed on, but very good percentage for her when she came into this match, sitting on only 69%.
And even that 71%, 5 from 7 for the long shots, is very respectable. Saidi, on the other hand, 5 from 5 at close range and 60% from the longer attempts. Overall, very, very good 80% for her as well. And Lochhagen, well, that's the very point you made there, Julie, just a few moments ago.
Yeah, they're all within that 2-metre range, and a lot of them, as you see on that wing attack side of the court. There's Avellino scattered around, so no pattern really there for the defence to look at.
In fact, oddly enough, she's more successful with the long shots than she is with the short shots. So I guess they combine each other. They combine well, Lochhagen and Avellino.
Yes, their shooting stats looking very similar as we've seen throughout the competition. Avellino 69, Lochhagen 92. Lochhagen coming back into the shooting role in this quarter.
Now, there has been a replacement made there on the bit, with the Kate Dowling has left the court and has been replaced by Makia Wakanzola, the Fijian import, one of 2 Fijians in the Force squad. So clearly there was some real problem with her eye in the contact lens.
And since she's nowhere on the bench, so she's clearly gone to get assistance. Wakanzola had a work cut out there. 2 attacks, only the 1 defence, with Banganar being pulled out of the circle.
Now this will be interesting to see what effect the loss of Dowling makes in that defensive circle here for the Force. Although she's been pinged 9 times for contact today, she's done a very good job there on Avellino. Space there for Whoopi and one of her few misses today.
And she's done a good job on Lochhagen. That's the thing, she really did control Lochhagen in the first 5 minutes of the match. Long ball, cross court, and that's the intercept that Banganar likes, but well done with Singh. Moved forward nicely onto the ball, didn't wait for it to come into the hands.
And the approval from Tanya Dalton as well. So it's back to a 1-point ball game, and here's the Sting, as they can do. It's one of their hallmarks. They get these little surges on, and suddenly, before you know it, they've taken control of the match.
Yes, and that could be the damage. Twice that ball went over Wakanzola's head. Not warmed into the game yet, just come off the bench.
And Whoopi with a couple of misses as well, and Sting managing to get the ball on both occasions, one from the rebound, one from the penalty, and look at that again, Wakanzola there too late.
And what a pass from half from the edge of the circle. That's just the skill that girl has.
15 to the National Bank Cup Finals. And it's warning bells sounding here for the Force all of a sudden as Lochhagen with an inexplicable miss there, right over the top. Justine Bourne wants them right back there, and it's their goal defence who's been penalised, and the penalty to be taken just inside the circle. Where the offence took place into Avellino, thinks she might have a long shot. Tipped out of court by Wakanzola, and so Lochhagen gets the possession and the goal. That's 5 in a row now for the Sting. Well, I'm afraid the loss of Kate Dowling has made a big impact on this match.
Yes, just let them in. 9-2, still a good quarter, 9-all.
It doesn't look quite as good from the Force point of view as it did a couple of minutes ago when they were leading 8-4. The awkward smile from Avellino, sending a message to the umpire that she didn't agree with that decision, doing it in a very graceful and amiable fashion.
Yes, it was, the pass just went a wee bit sooner than Teresa Tayeri's feet could get her there. But good pressure as well, all the way, right from their attack end, the Force. What both these teams have been very good at in this match this afternoon. Defence isn't just at the defence end of the court, but right throughout.
Tipped away by Lockhagen and scooped up by Temapara Clark. Lockhagen couldn't get it two hands on that pass.
Just the timing not quite on the attack for the Force. Moving a little soon.
Forcing Whoopi to shoot wide, but she nails her 17th goal of the day. She's missed a few in this quarter, and from 90% she's dropped down to 74%. 17 from 23. Tayeri's still going at 80%. The Force back in front. Well, it's been that sort of match right from the word go.
Well, Lockhagen not ready for it.
Two lost balls from Lockhagen the last couple of minutes. Sting were able to convert one. Can they avert this one? Would be easy. Stepping back, too much on it.
Yes, when you look at that shot, you think, oh, she rushed it, but quite often she does put up quick shots and they go in. So.
Good vision from down the court, and this time Whoopi finds the hoop.
It's another good turnover, valuable turnover for the Force in the mid-court.
Well, they just managed to cut the Sting off here at the pass, actually, because the Sting were really threatening to take control of this match. With the loss of Kate Dowling, and then the next 5 goals of those Force defenders are doing in the defensive circle for the home team today. Avellino, 9 from 14. She's only landed 1 goal in this spell. Avellino, 8 from 11 in the first quarter, but only managed to add 1 to that tally.
Whoopi strong on the rebound again, gets the ball for the Force.
Yes, I mean, she's so imposing in the circle that if you sometimes think if she could just show a bit more aggression in some of those competitive situations going for the rebound, she could have a big impact defensively as well.
I must say, though, the look on her face today is not the relaxed look that we often see. There's been a little bit of tension there, and maybe that's what she needs, just that little bit.
Bringing the best out in it.
Yes.
Force Stewart has tripped there for the Force.
Oh, it opened up in the circle. It was on to her, but Clark had taken the vision away and the turnover gone.
Mitchell laying up her options on the top of the circle.
Half-time score from down the country. The match at 35, Flyers 19. That was at half-time.
I don't think we'll be seeing any spectacular upsets there today.
No, I don't think so. But the Magic, of course, definitely wanted the 3 points for that. Try and secure top 2 positions to give them a second life or a home game semi. Good pressure, Scanlon. Got the tip.
Whoopi's scoring average has suddenly slumped to 67%, but the fact is that she puts up so many shots that she still is the top goal scorer in this match, with 18 goals so far.
Yes, that's the thing. at the beginning of this match, she didn't even feature in the top 17 shooters from the competition, but the number of goals that she put up is quite astounding.
27 attempts she's put up so far, and here we are not even yet at half-time. So the Sting bring it back to a 1-point ball game. 18 from 27 for Whuppie now.
The only thing that's giving them a little reprieve in that area is that Avellino's only shooting at 67% for the Sting as well.
She's been on a very restricted diet in the second quarter, just 2 goals from Avellino. Elects not to put up that long shot as well as she turns and looks for Harper to try and get herself closer to the goal. Good shooting there from Avellino. Her third shot in this quarter, and it ties the match up at 28 all. Timekeeper is up, so there may not be time left for the fourth. There isn't, and so couldn't be much closer. The Sting win the first quarter by 1. The Force win the second quarter by 1, which means it's all tied up at half-time here at the North Shore Event Centre. Quarter each by 1 solitary goal, which means it's all tied up at 28 all.
Yes, it did take Walker and Zola a wee while in that second quarter to work into the game. Let a few easy goals in for the Sting, but then she really came on in the second half of that quarter.
It could not be any tighter than it is. 28 all to Donna Lockhagen with the first goal of the third quarter. Joining me now is Yvonne Wittering, coach of the Force. Yvonne, how have you seen the match unfold so far?
Yeah, pretty even if you have a look at it. It's about shooting stats right now. I think, both teams equal possession, but if you have a look at our stats, it's just lack of finishing off, and that's something that we've certainly spoken about it in the quarter and something we have to address right now.
Nonetheless, it would represent, I think, one of your better performances overall this year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's about time too, though, isn't it? Yeah, we spoke about that, and, this is maybe our last home game, so it's important, not just for the crowd, but also for ourselves to put it together. It's one thing talking about it, it's another thing actually doing it out on court.
Thank you, Yvonne. We wish you well for the rest of the match. Yvonne Wittering, coach of the Force. 28 all at half-time. It's been with the first goal since the break. And a chance to record the second goal here after that turnover, which they've converted. A good start here to the visiting side, up by 29, now 30 to 29. But really, I don't think there's been any more than 2 goals between the two teams. Might have been one brief moment. Might have got to 3. For a brief moment there, but really it's been goal for goal since the start of this match, which probably hasn't come as any great surprise to Robin Broughton, the coach of the Sting side. Nothing much to play for here today, Robin, so I suppose in some ways it might be a bit tougher to get your team up, but I guess you do want to retain that perfect record. And how do you see the match so far?
Well, we expected this. We expected goal for goal. Certainly, we know what sort of players this team is, and they're all very experienced. And certainly we don't want to lose it. So there's no way I had any trouble motivating them. We want to finish with the perfect record. It's just a pride thing.
So you're pretty happy with the way things have gone?
Yes, I think that both teams are competing really well for it, and we're both absorbing the pressure at the moment. We've both had our ups and our downs, so yeah, it's anyone's game.
Thank you, Robin.
Fine.
Thank you for your time. Robin Broughton, coach of the Southern Sting. This is, in many ways, it's just been a replay, really, of the final last year between these two teams. It was like this for basically the full 60 minutes until the Sting prevailed by the narrow margin of 2 goals, which gave them the National Bank Cup for 2003. It'd be fair to say that on paper they are the 2 strongest teams in the league, and they are living up to that billing today with the quality of the netball that we're seeing as well. But in some ways, Julie, you'd have to say that given the very heavy penalty count against the Force, that they're doing remarkably well to be on level terms with the Sting.
Yes, that's right. A lot of those are contacts, and that's giving the free shooting to the Sting, of course. But yes, almost double the penalty count for that Force side. But often that can be a wearing down tactic. You can see that Force 45 in total, 34 of those are contact. So that's when you come in contact with a player and you give away a free pass. Now, the team's often in possession anyway, so you're not actually turning over possession. And what you're actually doing is wearing the team down because you're bumping into them all the time. And so it doesn't necessarily put you at a disadvantage.
But if it's happening inside the shooting circle, of course,
well, that's when it is.
It's a free shot at goal, isn't it?
That's when it's dangerous. That's correct. But a number of those contacts, and we've got a split of them here, have been given away in mid-court off Clark and Scanlon.
Which, as you say, are not quite so telling. And the Flames are running away with it across the other side of the bridge, 41-31 at three-quarter time. So it looks as if the Flames will certainly finish in second spot, which will probably mean here that regardless of what happens, it'll be the Magic and the Force and the Sting and the Flames next week. 55-27, the Magic leading the Flyers. No real surprise here. That match being played in Napier this afternoon. And let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. Still a lot of netball left in this match here.
Well, not even the best high jumper in the world could pull that one in, I don't think. He's on the rise. Long pass from Clark. Clears the mess.
There's the lowest mere expression if ever I heard one. Get away from the rubbish.
Well, it's nicely into space, but I think he just needed to be a little more aggressive on that. Move into the ball. Lovely pass from Clark. We've seen it from Harper at one end. Now we see it from Clark at the other. That bullet pass between the defenders. And the fourth. Shooting at 75%. 5% behind that of the Sting at the moment. Scores locked together.
And Alina's taken us 6 minutes in this third quarter to put the ball through the hoop. She got off to a fast start, but really the bulk of the scoring is now being done by Donna Lochhagen, 22 from 25.
Against Nickel on the edge of the circle. She has to stand down.
Another very solid performance today from Saidi. 12 from 14, 86%. Harper, look at all the space and time there for Avellino, who tried to find Lochhagen, nearly lost it. Rock and Roll did a good job there, nearly intercepted that pass.
Have a quick look at the turnovers here. Sting, not often that you see that they have more turnovers than the opposition, and especially the Force last week had a huge number of turnovers, a lot of errors in the game, and so that's an area the Force have tidied up a lot, and the Sting, I'm sure, won't be too happy. I noticed of those 13, 8 of those have been bad passes, but the Force have been putting on a very good mid-court zone, and that's where they've struggled a little getting that ball through, and the Force have picked up some valuable possession.
Right. Eddie decides she will put it up from wide in the circle, and successful as well. The Force, as Yvonne Willering alluded to there, and we spoke to it, still not entirely happy with the shooting of her side this afternoon. Still only going at 73%. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't think you'd have a show of ever beating the Sting if that's as good as you can do, but they're putting up so many shots that to some degree they're compensating for their lack of accuracy simply by the volume of shots they put up.
So they do get a good number of their own rebounds on attack as well, the Force.
49 attempts they put up so far today, as opposed to the Sting's 44.
Well done with the Edie. She was strong when the ball wasn't she that time. It dropped in front of her, and then it dropped through the hoop.
Yes, her shots at goal never lack for pace, do they?
Absolutely not.
They really do hit that hoop with a lot of force, and so if she doesn't find the hoop cleanly, she usually will find them coming back at her.
Swings the ball to defence, stay back on the Fagan. She does well. And there she is in that position we've seen her shooting him so many times. Wing attack side of the court, close to the goal. She's on 85%. Eddie, the general at the attack end of the court with the ball.
Nice movement there from Whippy Eddie as well.
Yes, and Clark just clearing herself from the defenders outside before she made the feed in.
So 38-36, the fourth. With a 2-goal advantage, Donna Lochhagen, as we said, juggling the demands of top-class netball with basketball. She hopes to be part of the New Zealand women's basketball left in the third quarter. Here coming to you live from the North Shore Event Centre in front of a full house, 3,000 people here to watch these two old arch rivals go at it. Sting looking to extend their winning sequence in the National Bank Cup to 15 in a row if they can win today. And then it's back to Invercargill for a semi-final next Friday night.
No, they're going to get another shot. Avellino, 68%.
And Cormac coughing a little bit of flack from the crowd as it rolls away. And the poetic justice, say the crowd. Well, I don't know. There's the ever dynamic Temapara Clark.
And again, the defence heads down.
(39-36), 3-goal advantage here to the Force. That's the biggest winning margin they've enjoyed in the match so far. Avellino, well, in the first quarter, I think she would have put it up from there, but now she's looking for Lochhagen. Gets the penalty, so able to get a little closer. Back to 2-goal advantage.
Good defence. Look at that. Keeping the feeders off the edge of the circle. Finally, they break it through in good position. Although when it's on the side, you are restricted to where you can pass it. The better position's the top of the circle for the feed. Oh dear.
She must have had a foot out of the court.
Must have had her foot over the line. Yeah, did so well. She could have just let the ball drop. She had it shielded and they would have got the pass in.
And this will allow the Sting to get it back to 1 goal here. 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yep, opted to offload to Lochhagen. Losing a little confidence on his shot, Avellino.
Well, still ahead by 1 goal in this quarter. Clark talks about the long ball, I think, to Whippy Eddie. Then she saw the two defenders back on her goal shoot.
Yes, she's got to work cut out with Eddie, isn't she? Both defenders dropping onto her.
But it is freeing Coyote, and she made the most of it there and gets her 14th goal of the day.
Huge workload from Clark. Happy, yes.
Yes, quick hands can cover more ground than quick legs. We saw a good example of that there as Clark just with a quick hands found the space for Whippy Eddie and enjoying a nice little run here, the home team.
And that's the strength when you can get your own rebound like that as well.
4-goal advantage to the Force as we counted down for the end of the third quarter. Beautiful ball to Avellino. Won't put up the shot, though. This time she's a little closer.
Half a call for that.
Using the height to good advantage, couldn't finish it off, and Galvin.
Oh, Tahiri. It's a dirty ball. Knocked the ball from her hand as she went past.
Yes, it's getting a little testy down there between Galvin and Tahiri. Well, that was expensive miss there for the...
Oh, again, that little pocket. She loves coming out of that. That was Temepara Clark at her best on defence. Sits, waits, and pounces from the top of the circle.
Well, they've got her back to force. I was about to say that was an expensive miss from Whippies right underneath the hoop. And this is what she can do.
From well out.
Exactly. 30 seconds later, she bombs one from out in the suburbs. And back to a 4-point advantage there to the home side. With 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Winging the ball this time. Avellino in good position and Lafagan in good rebound position.
Doesn't need the rebound. 43-40, but they're forced ahead by 3 goals in the third quarter. They won the second, remember. Looks as if they'll win the third as well.
Oh, that time. Yeah. Scanlon with the long ball. Good vision.
Nice soft hands as well from Whippies.
Game last week, they went looking up court into the circle to force, making no mistake this week.
Well, the timekeeper is up, and so that it is. There's the end of the third quarter. That's another good one for the home team. That's 2 in a row they've won. I don't think there's been any team this year that have taken 2 successive quarters off the Sting. The Force have, and they lead by 4 with 15 minutes of the match remaining. Well, they are rocking here at the North Shore Event Centre. The Sting for the really, I might argue for the second time this season, really under pressure going into the last quarter. They really had to pull out a big last 15 minutes in Hamilton last week to win 63-60 over the Magic. Well, today it's an even a bigger task because 4 goals behind at three-quarter time. Problem here for Temepara Clark. Looks like she might have copped something in the right eye there. 44-40, the Force leading the Sting, and Yvonne Willering looks reasonably comfortable by her standards.
Yes, Robin Borton felt last week, I read a little article, and she felt that her mid-court just didn't fire on all cylinders last week in that game against the Magic, and I'd have to say that that's where a bit of their ball is being turned over today as well. Mind you, that a lot of it's to be put down to the Force. They've played really well defensively through that mid-third. The zone type of defence seems to be upsetting the Sting.
And the Sting haven't been able to stop that welter of possession to Whippies, have they? 43 shots she's put up, which is around about 50% more than any other shooter in the match. And so it's just been that constant supply of ball to Whippies, even though she's only going at 70%. She has scored 30 goals.
They're getting the ball to her, and also the defence have done well on Lafagan. Maybe not let her have the dominant role in the game that she normally has. It's putting pressure on Avellino to take the shot, and she's not a high percentage shooter. We've already said that. She's not up there in the 80s.
Well, she's in the 60s today, Whippies. And there he goes at it again. It's only taken it 30 seconds, and she's back in business in the fourth quarter. Now it's a 5-goal advantage. And a little fortuitous there for the Sting as the pass went astray. Avellino tidied it up on the baseline, got it back to Harper.
I just can't help but maybe a change. I know that the Sting are doing well anyway, but I just wonder whether Lafagan in the back and Avellino out at goal attack for a change might just change the mix in their circle. Certainly an option for them.
Yes, so it's interesting that no stage in this entire series have has a change been made in the shooting circle of the Sting, apart from when Tania Dalton had to leave the court back in round 2 with an injury. They have stayed. Robin Broughton has stayed with Avellino and Loughagen for the full 60 minutes in every match. It's goal attack and goal shoot. And the Flames have confirmed that they will finish in second place with a 52-42 win over the Diamonds at the Unitec Stadium at Point Chev just across the bridge. So the Flames know they will be heading to Invercargill next Friday night to take on the Sting. And I imagine they'll be poring over this videotape over the next few days as well. And the Magic 81-35 winners over the Flyers. No real surprise there. Yvonne, he's fired up for a big ride home. Could never accuse her of being facially passive.
And again, good defence here outside the circle, forcing the feeders off the edge. Avellino having to do a lot of court work. That is the strength of Avellino. She does move the circle nicely. Just this finish, that time she makes sure.
Slightly anxious look on the face there of Robin Broughton, who doesn't betray much. She's rather like Jill McIntosh, former Australian coach. Sits calm and unruffled regardless of what's unfolding on the court, and Robin Broughton rather cut in the same mould.
Not a lot of mistakes made in this game by either side. They're pretty straight. It's been good netball spectacle. Yvonne's really enjoying this game.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for her, I guess. It's been a frustrating season for her.
Yes, well, such a talented team on paper. Yeah. It's just them all firing at once, isn't it?
And it's not going to mean anything, oddly enough, even if they do win today, because they will still be playing the Magic.
I think it will mean a great deal, actually, that self-belief that they can actually win this competition, even if they do finish in fourth.
Yes, it's not going to, it's not going to lift them up the ladder, even though you'd think beating the Sting, you would make some real progress up the points table, but they will finish in fourth place, because the Magic have already beaten the Flyers as we expected them to, and the Flames have beaten the Diamonds, so nothing's going to change. We know who the semi-finalists will be already now, even though there is still another 5 minutes left, or 10 minutes left in this match.
Vangenaar does well. That lifted ball, and that's what the force like into that circle. If they can get the ball in the air, Vangenaar will certainly have a go at it.
And Whoopi Epi getting rebounds also, which we haven't seen from her much this year.
No goal.
Wasn't allowed. She might have put a foot over the baseline, did she?
2 tips and a catch, I think it was. Well, this is the other end of the court on the National Bank replay. The intercept from Vangenaar.
Again, being goal for goal in this third quarter, 5-4. The home side ahead, extending that 4-goal advantage at three-quarter time to 5. So is the Sting's 14-match winning sequence about to end here on the floor of North Shore Event Centre? Not over yet.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's an amazing miss there from Donna Loughagen. Well,
but she did some great work to get it back again.
Yes, she did. So it's probably still going to result in a goal, and it does. So they've cut it back to 4. But it's the force with the centre pass. Still 9 minutes in this match. Plenty of time left for the Sting to turn it around. They're such a powerful team that you often see this at Invercargill when they're under a bit of pressure. Suddenly they can just put together 5 or 6 goals in a row. And we've seen that today in that second quarter when they ran in 5 unanswered goals. And that's exactly what they need now to get back in front.
Yes, the force really picking up the running paths of the players, and that time they caused the contact in doing so.
That's a highly significant goal because it comes off the forced centre pass, and so this is an opportunity now for the Sting to get it right back to within a 2 or 3 point ball game.
Oh, and Yates does well for the force.
They get the turnover, the force.
Pressure on defence.
And look at those shooting stats. The Sting well below their seasonal average, and the Force slightly above theirs. Whoopie easy. Boyce to the rebound. He's only missed 2 today. Teresa, look at the adrenaline in those eyes. She's really fired up for the last 10 minutes of this match.
Cocooned in concentration, I would say. Absolutely with it.
Yes, Teresa Torrey hasn't missed a shot at goal since the first quarter. And the Rebels have beaten the Shakers at 42-32, so this is the last match. Only 8 minutes left to complete the round-robin section of the National Bank Cup for 2004.
That'll give the Rebels a clear 6th place in the competition. Shakers 7, Flyers 8.
51-46. 7.5 minutes left.
And again, good defence closes the baseline for the Force.
Another turnover.
Yes, I like it, says Yvonne.
Using the long ball. Yates does well somehow or another. Manages to shuffle the pass to Whoopi Eapi. Well, she's come good right when they needed it. So after that indifferent start of the Force this year, when they only managed to win 1 out of their first 3, finishing on a strong note, beat the Diamonds 2 weeks ago, the Rebels last week, and now with a chance to claim the biggest scalp of all, up by 6 with 6 minutes of the match remaining. Avellino, a nice pass, manages to find Lophagen.
Was that for talking back?
Well, I thought she said advantage to the Force there.
Yeah, it might have been, I don't know, but it might have been some words from Lophagen, I'm not sure.
Nice work again from Whoopi Eapi. She's not the quickest mover I've seen in a shooting circle, but she has shown some nice mobility today along the baseline there with the Eapi, and creating some space there. Meanwhile,
Telfer calls the time. She was out for 2 rounds with an ankle injury.
Neil Hamilton, the physiotherapist with the Sting, and here he is, the cheerleader. Is he happy or what?
Very even look about the stats in this whole competition, in this whole game. 76 and 78% for the shooting of the teams collectively. The rebounds, very close as well. Both teams equal, close to equal in that area. Intercepts pretty close as well. Just the penalty count that the Force perhaps conceded a little more ball there, but as I said, sometimes that doesn't really count for too much, except wearing down of the opposition.
So a little breather, which I'm sure has probably been appreciated by both teams as they knuckle down for the last 6 minutes of this match. Quite ironic, the crowd is just about lifting the roof off the stadium here, and yet, of course, it's not going to mean anything, the result, in terms of where these teams will finish in the top 4. But certainly if the Force manage to get up and win this match, it'll spice things up nicely for the playoffs, the extended playoff season, which stretches over the next 3 weeks. Although some coaches might think the worst thing you could do to the Sting is beat them a week before the playoffs start. They will be a very determined side when they come out on the boards at the Southland Stadium next Friday night, if they leave Takapuna this afternoon with a loss. Well, the lead now extended to 8. They have doubled the size of their lead in this last quarter. They led by 4 at the start, and they're now out by 10-6 Just 5 minutes of the match to go. And another rebound for Wibby. Tries for the third time. Danica, this time you get the penalty.
And that's why she puts up so many shots, because she put that long shot up, so that counts as a shot up, and then she gets the rebound, shot up again. Because not a lot of her shots are actually, there's not a lot of contact against her shots or obstructions against her shot, because she's quite quick at shooting. So there's not the time for the whistle to go against the defenders in front of her. And that's why I think she had such a high number of shots at goal.
Well, she's put up 53 shots at goal today. The next best is Lophaker with 31. Christine Bourne giving the free pass to Avellino. Gets the 39th goal of the day, and with less than 4 minutes of the match remaining, you'd have to say they should not lose it from here, the Sting. And there's another valuable intercept claimed by Cheryl Scanlon. And you can relax now, Yvonne. I think you can just start to enjoy the last 3 minutes of the match, because can't see the Sting overturning it. They've certainly been outplayed clearly in this last quarter by 12 goals to 7. It'll be a long time, I think, since the Sting have been restricted to a diet of just 7 goals.
And it just gets better. Some great skills there from Zaire. The little roll gets rid of the defence.
10-goal advantage here to the Force. Well, this is the sort of play you would have thought would have been forthcoming from the Force earlier in the National Bank Cup. When you looked at the strength of this side on paper, didn't look good when they lost Kate Dowling there midway through that second spell. And the Sting quickly rattled on 5 unanswered goals, but it's been a very strong comeback here by the Force. And Avellino.
No, over the baseline. The toe was over.
She lost her balance. And the breaks just aren't going their way in this last quarter as the big cross-court pass. But Diary had it covered.
And then they shorten the ball down. Nice and careful with it as they bring it towards the goal. And easy stuff.
So the Force will not only win this match, but they will take the added benefit from depriving the Sting of even a bonus point here. Won't make any difference to where the Sting finish, because they will still finish on top and have that home semi-final next Friday against the Flames. So it'll be one all-South Island semi-final and an all-North Island semi-final next Sunday in Tauranga. The Force needed the Flames to lose today in order to be back here next Sunday. The Flames beating the Diamonds and have claimed second place. But as I said, Julie, if nothing else, this will spike those playoffs up a little, won't it, with the Sting being beaten right at the 11th hour of the round robin?
Well, absolutely, and that's the thing, I think, just for these teams to know that this side, this machine of a side, can be beaten.
Well, the Magic got close last week. Took them to within 3 goals, but today the Northern Force proving far too strong, although I still have a feeling that if there'd been a lot more hanging on this match for the Sting, it might have been a different scoreline.
And when they're at home, and always I think too with the Sting side that they can lift another level. They always seem to be able to take it to another level.
If they've been playing for their life today, if they had to win to stay in the competition, it might have been a different ball game, but they knew, didn't matter what happened, they were going to finish on top of the league, and they were going to have a home semi-final next week. But it's not to detract from easily the best performance we've seen from the Force this year. And you can't deny that scoreline, 60-48. Galvin. They have restricted the Sting to just 8 goals in this last spell. and just 20 goals from the second half of the match. A side that has been averaging 63 goals a game from their previous 6 today, restricted to just 48.
Yes, but the Saints haven't got the ball for this thing today either. Edison, Galvin, it's not the ball that we've seen them get in other matches. Of course, they haven't managed to get many of those rebounds. The forced attack has got 9 of those, and there it is. That's a mighty win for this fourth side. 60-48. They won the last 3 quarters in this match. The Sting won the first, 15-16. The fourth, 13-12 in the second, 16-12 in the third, and a real oomph in that finishing final quarter. Beat them, doubling the score of the Sting to win 60-48.
They have left their best until last, and Yvonne Willering is Nickel.